Are we now?
And there you
Right,
are.
I better come back in. I better come back.
Did you try to sneak out?
I did, just on my way up. Not really. Not really.
Yeah, no need to escape from the Creatrix today. It's a the Creatrix. No need to escape from the Creatrix.
I
was just saying,
like, do that.
Stay 11. Number 11 is my favorite number, and of course the Creatrix is also my favorite. And then you said they're all our favorites. They all have got something special to bring us, and I think you're so right there. That's true.
Well, if you have a favorite, then what about all the others? Then they can't be favorites. So it kind of feels like you've got to have them. You've got to have them all as your favorite.
Yeah, even though on my dress there are 7 Beregini, so of course my main ones, I've been given them through my soul tree horoscope. There's still something different once you have got this kind of insight. And I mean, I'm working with them for 7 years and do the shaping wings, which are like movements to connect with those energies. So those 7 Bereginis, and especially the wise one, are even closer to me because they're weaving through me. I've connected with them the most frequently, so obviously I've got a more intimate relationship with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They all carry beautiful gifts for us, of course. Yeah,
they do indeed. Well, the muse certainly carried some gifts for me in dreams.
Oh,
I had some weird.
Would you like to tell us about it?
Well, it was very weird because when I look at my own one, which I'm busy putting up on the website, which I was a few minutes ago, I haven't put it up yet. But actually, my own one looks quite different from this, but your one. And when I look at your one, I see snakes, right? I see snakes, I see an egg, I see all sorts of things. Didn't think too much about it. But last night, definitely, I was having interesting dreams where I had a situation where I kind of had a dream where I did, you've been doing lucid dreaming. Mm-hmm. And practicing and saying, interrupting, I guess, in the lucid dreaming is about just sort of checking out, is this true? And just, am I awake or am I asleep really? So I was I was doing something in where my partner was irritating me in the dream. And I remember stopping in the dream and saying, you know what, I can do something else about this now. In the dream. And I was like, what I must do now is I must work out where this feeling of irritation comes from. Mm-hmm. And I then saw myself spiraling back. And I saw this card which came up with the all-seeing eye and snakes all around it. Yeah. And I thought, well, that's very interesting. Didn't think, and while I was busy looking at that, I noticed that the snakes started all weaving together, so they became like a basket. All very long, sort of browny black snakes weaving together, forming this basket. And in the basket was an egg that they were just keeping nice and warm. So I thought, well, that's interesting. What came up with that? And I immediately then thought about something where in another place where I know a whole lot of snakes come together to keep warm, and they sort of weave together. They share, lots of different types of snakes share the same cavern, so to speak. So, but that was really what I was thinking. And as I was waking up, I was just paying attention to the egg and paying attention to the weaving of and creating this egg. Beautiful, big white egg.
So I wonder what kind of egg is this egg?
I have no idea. And I know that I sat there and I thought, well, I know it's a very big white egg. And I know it's surrounded by snakes. And you know, I had watched I don't know if you've ever watched any of Philip Pullman's the Golden Compass. Have you seen it? Okay, so there's something called The Subtle Knife, which is the second trilogy, and I quite like it. And there's an astrophysicist who's dealing in dark matter, and she basically had opened the Bible, and it said there was something about the snake being cunning. And so that came up for me while I was looking at it. And I thought, well, actually, to survive and to do things, snakes are pretty smart in their way. Very smart.
Yeah.
So I was kind of looking at all the kinds of what that is and what does a snake do. I remember when I was trying to get pregnant a long time ago, I remember two snakes coming into the kitchen, and they took the egg away from, they brought an egg into the kitchen, and I took the egg out. So that was really interesting. And this time the snakes were holding the egg. They weren't going to let the egg go. So that was quite an interesting dynamic. So it was quite different from before. Yeah. So maybe there's something about that comes into it.
Yeah, well, it seems to be quite prominent with the egg and the snakes. There's still to be unfolding, revealed what kind of wisdom there is with that, to come with that.
Yeah.
Maybe just observe your dreams and set the intention before you go to dream to receive more insight about that. And I'm sure you will, you will receive some wisdom.
And I think it's interesting that it came when I look at the muse, because I remember looking at it and thinking of it like an egg and thinking of it as snakes and thinking just in that kind of way, which was really interesting but it's nowhere near that, but it's because of the curls. All the curls were reminding me.
Yes.
And it has a tale to tell.
It has a tale to tell for sure. So I'm curious what is gonna come out of that. And I have to think about the with the picture I've sent with the apple standing for the vagina and the womb. And there are also two snakes holding the eggs in the mouth. Coming from both sides.
So have you put that on? I haven't seen it, so I must have another look. I was just going to post now.
Yes, I think it's 2 days ago with the wise one where I posted it, and I mentioned that when you mentioned the apple of Kazakhstan, then I started to mention this picture, and I did post it up with the report. And there are the two snakes coming.
Yeah, we'll have another look. So there's something about eggs and there's something about snakes. We'll have a look. I'll have a look. Yeah, the apples, the eggs, and the snakes.
Yeah, and the snakes, of course, bringing the wisdom.
Yeah.
And for those who are cunning to see the wisdom, it's like the upcoming Sophia age, Sophia century. It's all about this wisdom, what the snake brings. Because people say, like, the Bible story of Eve and the snake and the apple seen through the wise feminine. Like Sophia is translated from Greek wisdom.
Yeah.
So if seen through the wise feminine wisdom, the snake carries a lot of good, cunning wisdom. And that we can follow our desires, we can eat the apple. And there are two trees, it is said. There's the tree of knowledge and there's the tree of wisdom. And there's a lot of secret symbolism in the whole Bible story. And I believe in my own translations and not the ones like where Eve is the evil one and then now we women are forever now the sin bringers and everything. I don't quite believe that. I believe in the other wisdom what the snake brings. And this is then the tree of wisdom. And there's a lot of more and more now of those stories coming to the consciousness.
I mean, it makes perfect sense. I mean, if you think about the Kabbalah, you have knowledge and you have wisdom on both sides of the tree.
Yes.
So it makes perfect sense that there be two trees.
Yes.
You know, there are two trees, and those two trees, as they blend together, they create the weaving. So it makes perfect sense. I think, as like everything else, we create the stories because they fit us in whatever way we want to create them. So yeah, it's really
it's up to us to rewrite the stories.
Exactly.
To be more empowering as far as like sacred feminine wisdom is concerned. So I'm also curious how your story is going to develop with your snake and the egg and what she's gonna birth.
And we've got the Creatrix, so there's definitely something going on. Yeah, with well, snakes have been a theme for us, actually, hasn't it?
Yes, definitely.
I mean, the sun loves snakes, and there's all the things about snakes.
The snake is my ally as well on my shamanic painting.
Yes.
The green snake. I don't know whether it's visible there in my painting in the back. There's also the green snake.
And any particular reason that it's a green snake?
No. When I was painting, like, I just followed my intuition. I don't remember the green having a particular color. No. I think it just blended well with the other colors. And there's the lotus flower and the arch.
Yeah.
Lots of secret symbolism, my yoni heart. Yeah, which could also be seen like an egg. I don't know. Yeah, but definitely snake, very important. And I've seen it as well yesterday in the spiral. So definitely a recurring wisdom keeper, an ally for us. And this is the Creatrix for today. Simple.
It's really beautiful.
Looks like moons from all four directions.
Yes, from all four quadrants, yeah. You want to do the affirmation? All right, so I'll press and then you can say it.
Ready? So fourth circle Yav, the Creatrix. I play with my gifts and possibilities. It is a protection, it is a supportive protection symbol for children and to realize one's talents and gifts. I'm sure it's not just for children. It could be protection symbol for us as well.
Well, our inner child.
Yeah, we all have got an inner child as well.
Yeah.
There's this cross again.
Yes.
And the four elements, but no longer from the foundation, from the base, but because this symbol stands for the middle world. So it's like where we live in the middle world. So it's so fitting for the Creatrix. She plays with all elements, with everything what is available for her. She knows how to make magic out of it.
It looks very feminine. It reminds me of flowers, actually. You know, at the the flowers, so you've got them at the ends of the thing, so it's touching everything. You know, that's what I think about when I see that. And receiving, because it's also shaped like that.
I also feel it's receiving and magnetizing.
Yes.
What we need, what we desire, magnetizing it to us. and then use it for our purpose.
And also, yeah, and you know, because it's curved, means it comes in and it can go out. It can be in a flow rather than being stuck. So if it was a V, I'd feel it like it had to funnel down. But this is kind of like it moves and it flows around everything. So if you look at your things, you could have, like, if you had 8, they would all touch, and you would get this wave going around.
Yes.
And you've got a red heart in the middle. Is that something that's significant?
I think it's a red point.
Mm-hmm.
Red point in the middle. And this was not my creation. I had taken that from the symbol cards which I bought from the two Russian women. So this is not my own creation. There's a point in the middle, a red one. It reminds me of the medicine wheel, in connection with all different directions. And we are in the middle, in the center, like also in the center of the middle world. And just very consciously pulling towards us what we need and create. That's what a creatrix does, doesn't she?
Well, it's interesting because it's, you know, that you've got the red center, and that's in the center, and where the heart kind of is, you know, if we kind of think about it as the middle of the 4, then the heart is there, isn't it? So it kind of feels like everything comes towards the heart, or at least the central being. Very nice.
Yes, indeed. Well, for me, it's actually, I always perceive it like it comes together in the womb. This is for me the weird. I perceive it like that. I know we had this conversation before, and in my body, I feel I'm connecting everything, all this membrane as well, like the womb membrane. I feel it's really connected to the strings of the universe.
Right.
And it, because we also get born, everything gets born from the womb in a physical way. So I really feel when I meditate, or when I talk about centering myself within myself, I always feel it in my sacral area. And when I'm connected there, then I can consciously pull the energy up to the heart, to the higher realms, or automatically I'm connected also with all the lower chakras as well. So at least for me, I perceive it all goes to the womb, I don't know. Many people maybe to the heart. I can only speak where I feel maybe most connected.
And maybe it's just that they have different functions in a way, esoterically, and so therefore, you know, one of the primary things that we have is to create, and you know, everything does, as you say, come from there, and we don't pay enough attention to there.
No, because it's so intangible.
So
it's like, so it's more intangible than the heart, for example, because to activate the heart, I can think about somebody I love, about a really nice moment, and I automatically feel my heart is opening. Whereas I think to work with the womb and activate the womb, it takes much longer. I mean, it took me 13 months of an apprenticeship, by a mystical womb apprenticeship, and it was really deep, from ancestral healing up to the conception, birth, rebirthing, like all different rites of passages. And the entrance was always through the womb. And to even go so deep, like this endless ocean, it takes practice. It was not as easy for me as working with the heart, for example, because it's underneath, it's really dark, and it's really like swimming in this like
Yeah.
deep ocean, dark, deep ocean without no ground, and trust in this unknown. And that's why I think the wise one, the raven, again gave this wisdom, like the true wisdom lies in the unknown. And for me, my biggest revelations came through the womb. Like, yeah, I can certainly say that. And once
Well,
they recover from the dark and come like to the heart, like then they come like more into this higher chakras.
yeah,
And then I
yeah,
could put light on it. Oh, okay, I experienced the healing there. I experienced that. And it's like throwing light, what comes from this unknown darkness.
yeah,
And then it becomes more and more like, then I find a voice to speak out about my experiences. Then it goes even higher. And yeah, for me, it's from below to the top, is from the darkness to the light.
yeah.
Mm.
Very yin, very yin in nature.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's very yin. And for me, my experience is from yin to yang.
yeah,
And it's an embodiment, because the body is the lower vibration. That's why it's a root chakra. We really go dark. The vibration is not I'm happy, joygasmic. No, sometimes like really like, oh my God, yeah. You experiences this dark night of the soul, traumas come up, shadows come up. And yeah, it's not really nice experience. And still they're so important for the healing and integration of all our experiences. And a lot of people actually are very afraid to go really deep, especially like in this spiritual circle, new age. They always just want to ascend, and all these are happy, clappy people. But no, it doesn't work like that, because this is a natural cycle which you just surpass, and it's going to come up in a different way, and in not a very nice way. Then it triggers traumas, and you cannot surpass it. It's just not natural. We all have got lower roots. We all in the body, so we
yeah.
cannot just have angelic Christ consciousness experience. It is not natural.
Well, yeah, I'm guessing that, if you're constantly wanting to go up there, it could be that you're too scared to go down there. And that's in a way an avoidance, one could say. Yeah, an avoidance if you always want to be happy. Part of real happiness is something that comes from a deep feeling of no need to try. You are. You are happy because you've cleared what is cleared. Yeah. So there's nothing else that's going to get in the way of your happiness. You know the truth for what's going on. Yeah. And I agree with you quite absolutely. People that don't go there, don't go and look at those places, they will find it. Those things will trigger for them. They absolutely will. Yeah.
And when we did the ancestral healing, all the wounds from our ancestors, like previous generation, this is all stored in the bigger womb of existence. And so it's unavoidable if you start to do this kind of healing work, that things like that come up. Also traumas like the witch hunts and burnings, and it all comes up because it's stored in the membrane where there is no time and no space. So it's not surprising that things like that come up if you go on your really deep healing journey. And sometimes it's very difficult to not get stuck in that. I mean, I was highly depressed and suicidal for over 20 years. I mean, this is a long time. This is longer than half of my life. and it's very easy to get stuck in this very melancholic or depressive, very dense, heavy, like you feel like the whole pressure and traumas of the whole world, especially if you're a highly sensitive person. And it's very difficult to get out of there. That's why it's so helpful to have community and a supporting network, because there's some heavy stuff coming up for sure from the deep. let alone from our own traumas, and then you get the ancestral traumas and like the generational traumas and the cosmological traumas, like even from previous civilizations might come up, and everything's like, yeah. We are quite complex creatures, and since everything is interconnected, it's like really a big adventure to look at everything what comes up. But we're already halfway through and we have not even invited the Creatrix. Should we invite the Creatrix in? Should we invite the Creatrix?
Yes, let's invite the Creatrix in.
The Creatrix. May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May all beings remain free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings remain connected to sacred joy and happiness that is totally free from sorrow. May all beings come to rest in feeling of security and peace. May all beings be happy, content, and fulfilled. And then I think in that state we can all be creatrixes.
Yes.
And so be it.
So be it.
Lakadaru.
Right. Well, it is the most amazing color. You probably won't see it, but it's kind of pink all the way around.
I see lots of pink for change, because most of the days it's blue, yet it's pink.
Well, I don't know what it'll be like afterwards, but it's certainly it's a sort of a magenta there and an orangey red-ish pinky there, which you'll see. It's not, I mean, it looks a little bluish, but that's actually pink. So the magenta pink. And then there's just a little bit of blue coming in there, and there's gold over there. So
it's interesting that it's on the right-hand side. Most of the pink, it's on the right.
Yeah, the orangey goldy pink is on the right, and the sort of cooler bluey pink is on the left. Yeah, as you look at it. But if you look at the tree of life, and in the sense of, and I'm just going from that model, you would have the reddy color more on the left and the bluish colors more on the right. So that, but you know, this is just showing an energy frequency right now, because we're working with the muse, and the muse is quite a light frequency. We had green yesterday mainly. We ended with a lot of green, almost like a rainbow kind of effect yesterday. So a multi-layer kind of effect. So we'll see. I mean, this feels very, very light and very yeah, for me it feels like a very high vibrational childlike frequency is what it feels like to me. Yeah. And the word childlike comes in, it's because it's that kind of pureness of the frequency. So, but we'll see what it does after the balance. That's where we've been anyway. Now we were talking quite a bit about stuff, so it may be that there's other stuff coming up.
It's interesting. I feel exactly the opposite. I feel like the muse yesterday with the symbol in all different directions felt very childlike, like this very pure divine energy. Whilst this one, we're speaking like of Sophia wisdom from the very beginning, and now from the womb wisdom. This is for me already very deeply embodied wisdom of a woman, like who really walks her path in this earth, in her body. Already very potent, like who knows how to use all 4 elements, and who's doing her own alchemy in a way. Like for me,
Yeah.
it feels very different, energetic to yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean what we're saying is this: we did this. This is pre the scan, so it's not even the scan yet. It's the frequency at where it is resonating right now until it gets balanced. So we'll see what it does once it balances all some of the layers that are going on with all of us where we are.
Okay.
But when we started, while we were coming on the live, what came up was the Hermit.
Mm-hmm.
So the Hermit here, it's called the Golden Head, or the Hermit.
Mm-hmm.
So the
He
Hermit
killed a person.
Well,
Is a dead person there on the ground? I can
looks
see.
like it, but there's a golden head. I don't know why it's called that, as because I know that the Hermit is in the tarot, in the other tarot, in the Rider-Waite. He stands with his staff and a light, and he's going inside to find himself, to find the deeper parts of himself, the truth of himself. So the golden head is the story of is the symbol of the alchemist, as the going inside, and the golden sun center shines bright, guiding a delighted obedience to the divine beloved. So it's kind of like you cut away what you don't need, and you just go for pure essence if you want to. So I think that's kind of what this sort of feels like. You only need to go, you don't need your body. You can just go with the consciousness, the golden consciousness of who you are, rather than carry the weight, I'm thinking.
And he is holding the head in his hands, doesn't he?
Yeah. And of course, so what's here is that the body is left to fertilize the soil.
And there's lots of gold around the card.
Yeah, there is. I'm just trying to look at what's at the bottom. So you've got the Chariot at the bottom.
Number 9.
Yeah, it's a number 9.
Just like the last dimension of the completion circle.
Yeah.
I wonder why it's just the head which is so important.
Well, I don't think it's I think what it's when we think about what's our consciousness, most of us think that everything's finally processed through our brain. Now we make sense of the world. So in a sense, it's the sense that we've made that is going to be transmitted onward, I'm guessing. So and it's just I mean, my sense is that it's kind of when we leave this world, we don't die, but our body dies. And it just feeds nature. Unless we evolve completely and we become pure light, and then that's a whole different ball game.
Yes.
Then we'll just evaporate in a way, but our consciousness will still stay. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, so the golden head stands for the consciousness.
I think so.
Well, let's take that into the circle. Today's Beregini circle. And what does the oracle
I wonder what's
bring to the circle? Let's see. Also very much gold. Many paths.
Many paths. Wow.
Many paths. It looks like a desert.
But it does look like things are going up towards the sky, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the skies, and there is again like the sun up there.
Yeah. The light kind of makes me think of at the top with the rays, makes me think of angels or angel wings.
Mm-hmm.
You can almost see an essence up there.
Yeah, up to the sky and to the stars.
Mm-hmm.
Many paths to wisdom, to consciousness, to our essence.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no one way. There's many ways.
Exactly, like we are all unique as well.
Yeah.
We all have got a unique purpose to be here for, and each path is important, or each thread is important to weave the tapestry. And the rune, it looks up. We had that before, so this one looks up. So this is the Anzus, because the Fehu, the abundant ones, always points down, but I check it to be a. This one looks up. No, the Anzus looks down.
Yeah, I thought that was Phil. That's the abundant one, isn't it?
I'll just double check. Yes, it is the abundance one. It's the very first rune of the Elder Futhag. I sometimes get it wrong. When it points up, it's abundance. The weekly rune of this week is actually Anzus. It looks down those points. So this is.
Does Anzus have two?
Anzus has two, yes. Well, it looks
exactly. Anzus has two lines down.
This says they look exactly the same, only like those look up, and they're like further underneath. Right. Was with Anzus, they're straight like this going down. I've got it on my altar. It's not here, but it's the weekly rune is Anzus, but this is Fehu, which is the very first rune. It stands for abundance, for wealth, prosperity, but also in a physical form. I think it's also interesting that the runes, they all start with very physical energies, like as well, like Uruj, Fehu. Those are all like real physical, like runes.
Yeah.
It's like similar like to the cycles, which comes to me just now, that we started with the foundation first. Like this is bringing abundance and the roots to the physical realm first before we can be aware about the more higher, like divine energies. It's the first row of the 8. It's the physical. Then the second row of 8 runes. This is like the psychological, the emotional realm. And then the last 8, they are like the divine, like more higher up, higher energies. Isn't that interesting? It just came to me now. It's like, I'm sure it's no coincidence that these 9 circles we are traveling through are very similar. Like,
Well, I think part of going through these realms are I think that when we start with the first one, they're coming up and they're coming down like lightning that comes down, and then you have something that then the reverse is going back up. So each informs each other.
Yes. And it's all interconnected, because that's why from Advanced Rune Shamanism, this book, this is the most advanced rune wheel, because it's like the medicine wheel with all different worlds, but
Yeah.
the different roots which corresponds to a different world or dimension.
Yeah.
This is for me, like, that's why it's called Advanced Rune Shamanism. I think this is the most interconnected awareness.
Yeah.
And we all start here with the physical realm, and then corresponding in runes with the emotional realm, and then the divine realm, and how we are always in the center.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why 9 words rune reading can give you a very detailed insight to what you set as an intention or question to the universe. Very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing what happens when you have a reading. It certainly goes very, very, very deep. But then I think that's really part and parcel of doing this kind of work. The moment you engage and activate, it comes alive in some way, and it starts to resonate.
Yes.
And they're portals as well, to let you get to that world that you need to go to in order to get that wisdom.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and you received the 9 words rune reading, haven't you, from me as well?
I have. That's what I said. It goes very in depth. It was very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, well, you're more than welcome. If somebody's interested, get in touch with me. I love giving those. And even if then there are blockages or like some energies which are not flowing, this is also a very nice way to look how we can counterbalance it. Yeah, from the medicine wheel, which is on exactly the opposite side, we can also use the energies, to counterbalance where there might be like blockages, so something not in the flow.
Yeah, and I think they all have an energy. So even just opening it up, just when your eyes rest on it, you automatically receive from it. So even that's as simple as that is the opening for something to happen.
Exactly. And very similar to what we are doing here.
Yes, we're creating.
We're just opening the space, and everything is welcome. And with this free ebook about the Bereginis, if we feel that there is a blockage or we want to attract a certain energy, we can also be playful with a certain symbol and take a certain one which calls to us, or read up what they stand for, and work with the symbol, like very consciously. Well, there are different ways. Or there's also the sacred numbers, for example, from the Russian healers. You can also use certain number frequency for certain things in life. There are so many different ways where we can be the creatrix, to like create what we wish for.
I think the moment we set an intention in some form, even if it's going for a reading, even if it's just looking and thinking, okay, I want which one's going to work, or which one do I need, which one am I going to draw, any of these kinds of things are all an invitation to you becoming receptive to whatever is going to come in, because that's how we make sense of the world. And so it will have meaning. It's in the same way, like, when I say that I have the dream, so that dream last night has meaning. I'm not sure exactly what's going to be there, so the intention will be tonight to find out. But invariably, I normally find out at some point. We get information. It's just the intention of wanting to know that actually starts to activate.
Yes.
things. And our brain just decides, okay, let's go and find what's going to happen. Or your wound might start to generate something which you don't know yet is going to be there.
Yes. The intention is very powerful, and then staying open to receive, staying open, and really trust and surrender, because the universe speaks in unlimited ways to us.
Yeah.
So we cannot control it, and this is something which is an ongoing process to let go of control. And it's like a dance more than like putting an intention in the soul. That's why I like the cyclical process, like I describe in my book in the different chapters. You plant a seed in the dark soil. This is like our intention, but then we can care for it and stay present to it that it grows, but you cannot pull on it, or you cannot control it, or say until then it has to look exactly in this way. It doesn't work like that. It's like putting an intention, like really literally a seed, and care for it and put your attention to it, like use your own ways to meditate about it, to tend to it, and then let it go, because then the universe is going to do its magic.
But what it does need is that intention. It does need you to have a desire for something.
Yes.
That's part of the agreement.
Yes.
In a way.
It is. Well, this is the sacred first step of planting the seed in the ground. Today is Monday. I've got this other group, Co-Creative Destiny Weaving. That's where I'm following the same rhythm, this natural cycle. Like I see the Monday like planting seeds in the ground, like our intention for the week. What do we want to accomplish? And by writing it down, it's really literally like setting your intention. It strengthens your intention because you write it, you share it. And when it's witnessed by others, it gets even more this attention of fulfilling itself as when we just keep it for ourselves. And then it's like setting down roots on Tuesday. Wednesday is leaving your comfort zone, like when the seed is leaving Mother Earth. And then Thursday is facing challenges which come from the outside, which we all face as human beings. And then we continue to grow, to bloom. And then it's the next natural cycle is to spread the seeds. Before we go into the cycle again, like, and then the seeds go into the ground again. And it's the same natural cycles which we all go through, in nature and also in our unique nature development. And there's a lot of power which comes from doing it intentionally, like knowing, for example, like now at Christmas, it's winter time, I withdraw inside. I'm getting ready to be planted again, to be reborn next spring. So that's like where it was important for me to do this challenge until Christmas. And then the 12 sacred Christmas night starts. And this is for me a time where I'm totally withdrawn, where I'm very close to the ancestors, to the other worlds. And I write a lot because it is said like for each day of the 12 nights, this is like what comes up as wisdom. It's for each month of the year. And for me, it's so beautiful. If I look at it, like most of the time, it comes true. It realizes itself in the upcoming year.
Yeah. Now there is that period of really needing to go in and to create that intention.
And the only difference is, like, are we doing it unconsciously, knowing like, oh, now I'm the spirit of setting intentions, now I'm the spirit of strengthening the roots, what I've already planted. Yeah. Where am I in this natural cyclical development? And then we can bring this conscious to everything what we do, being this embroidery practice or some other experience of our life.
Awesome.
Well, the Creatrix is definitely very alive for me at the moment. Just before our call today, I was already in the midst of uploading my intercultural calendar, the German version so far.
Yeah.
On Amazon, KDP. So this is very exciting if it's going to get through. And I have not finished it because since it has got a special size, and my first German version, like on KDP, and this is a very new. Every step of it is like a new creation, and very exciting.
Very exciting. Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful.
And cross your fingers that it's going to get through, because then I can start translating into English so that I'm good in time before Christmas for people maybe to give themselves a nice present of a calendar for the next year with all the important intercultural dates and festivities.
I think it's going to be amazing.
I hope
it's
so.
such a good idea, and I think at the end of the day, it's probably better that you've done it yourself. I know that it could be done with with the work that you used to work with, but actually this is part of your new journey, so it makes perfect sense that you would be doing it by your own, on your own this time.
Yeah, now that you say it, yeah, because it adds new creativity to it, like being playful with self-publishing, and yeah, and it hasn't got the security of this like established organization, but at the same time it opens new space for myself to play around with it. And it has got this aspect like of using my contacts here locally, who I've worked with for 2 years.
Yeah.
And maybe been known for it, like that they buy my calendar, no longer just under the banner of Ramesh. No.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Erica, she still lives these values, even though she no longer works for this organization, but it's important to her to sustain those values. And that's going to be exciting if other major organizations maybe are going to purchase my calendar.
Exactly. Yeah. it's living what you've been wanting to have. You know, you're now in that space where it's coming into being, that future that you've created.
Yeah, and fills me with so much joy because this comes so natural to me. And we know each other from Soulbase coaching, from Clean Questions. And I can so naturally weave it into like also local work. Like I love to be perceived as a coach with the focus on intercultural communication.
Yeah.
Or intercultural community weaving. And I mean, I plan to do like what we call weaving circles here now in December. But since the lockdown, it's not happening. But I know once it's going to become possible, then I also like to hold these weaving circles with women and also take it to the world level. It's like being a coach with focus on intercultural relation and inclusivity and diversity, because this is my life. Yeah, this is my background. I've got so many different cultural backgrounds, so it's natural to me that I like to weave them all in.
Yeah, and you've spent just about your whole life basically doing just that, connecting with other people, connecting with other cultures to make, and in a way it's been the essence of just how much you live that value. You know, it's not like you just going and sprouting it, you're living it.
Yes, or it lives through me. Like our son has got 5 culture, yeah, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
And everything what I've been through also with my ex-husband, but still coming to such a good relationship with him, being as parents, multicultural parents. This is embodied experience. And this is the future, because our future is diverse. It's multicultural. And it's not just the future, it's the present already. I mean, we're living in such diverse culture. And you're still in London, and you know that I moved to London exactly because of this reason, because London is the most multicultural city in the world.
One of the most, yes, definitely.
Not one, it is the most multicultural. There is research about that, and it was important for me because of exactly of this reason as well to move there. So you live in the most multicultural city in the world.
Yes. I'm happy to be living here. I really love London. I really love England, actually. I always knew I was going to come. When I stopped off in 1984, I remember at the airport in Heathrow, we had stopped, and I said to my friend, I'm back home now. And she said, what do you mean you're back home? Home is South Africa. And I said, no, I'm home. This is my home. I will come back here. This is where I'm going to live eventually. So yeah, I always knew I was going to live in well, certainly in England, in Britain. Always knew I was going to do that.
Nice.
Yeah, I think this was probably the call of our ancestors.
What do you mean by that? What was the call of our ancestors?
My family did come from England.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was just my ancestors calling me.
And so good of you that you heard the call.
Yeah.
And this, like my call is calling me to return to Kazakhstan,
Exactly.
but only as a base. I want to have 3 bases. One of them is, of course, back to my roots where I was born and lived first 9 years. But I also want to live in London, because I hear the calling with this Royal School of Embroidery. That's how we met as well, didn't we? Doing
Yeah.
the gold work embroidery. And I still feel in one way or the other, we are going to have something to do with the Royal
Well,
School
I
of
think so.
Embroidery.
Absolutely, we're going to have something to do with them.
Not
I'm
in this
sure
old structural way, like they are functioning at the moment. It's going to be in a new way.
Well, all structures are tearing down now, so, and they're going to have to move forward. This is the thing. All of them, all structures have to now reform and find a new way of being.
Exactly.
If they want to survive. In actual fact, that is what needs to have happened.
So, an hour is over.
I know, can you believe it?
It has flew by yet again.
Okay, let's just quickly do another. Let's see what comes up this time. Oh, it's more green. Green has come up. Oh, where's my scissors? Okay, so now it's predominantly green again, green and some gold around here.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's moved. It's moved more, but the green is quite iridescent, so it's quite bright, the green.
Mm-hmm.
So I always see that as what I call apple green. And I always think of apple as new growth, new way of being. And
And then we have got the apple again.
Yes. Well, that's my favorite color, next to gold. I think, I don't know which one I like more, green or gold. But yeah, I like, I don't know, I love all colors, but I certainly find green to be one of my best colors.
And for me, it's red. Red and gold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I've chosen also red today for the Creatrix as the foundation. There will certainly be some gold around it.
Oh yeah.
To make it stand out. Yeah. Yeah. So any concluding thoughts? Oh.
Yeah, I suppose my thoughts are just in paying attention, and just I guess it's really about going in, looking at what we don't need and what we can use to create. I think that's what's kind of resonating for me. You know, we're talking about old structures going. What of our old structures can we undo and let go of, is what I'm kind of thinking about. Given that we have the hermit, and the hermit is kind of there where I'm thinking about that. Yeah.
True. That's what you brought in. What no longer serves us, we can cut it away and let it go. What's coming for me?
What's come up for you?
For me, it's got to do with this, like the future is colorful, bright and colorful. This is this aspect of this all colors, multicultural, and
yeah,
bright and colorful. Yeah, just like the Creatrix is bright and colorful. Yeah. And yesterday I researched, like this god of the Kenash was Haimasal, he's called.
Yeah.
It was the first time yesterday I actually researched about him because he came up, and he's the guardian of the bridge between the physical
Oh, wow.
and the
Okay.
God's word. And I wrote about that yesterday as well in my report. That's so interesting. And in Norse mythology, this is Bifrost, the bridge between the worlds. Yeah. And it comes up for me like as my intention for the next year. The intercultural calendar is about that, to like include all different colors, all talents in this like tapestry of all colors, and
To be the bridge.
yeah, and create this bridge like of all colors and of all talents. Like this goddess of unity comes up to me now. Yeah. With all these rainbow colors. Yeah. So the future is bright with all colors, with all interwoven colors, like the weird. The weird is in, is the new normal.
Well, I think both of us have had things where we both grew up feeling very odd. And really now what was odd is now becoming more normal.
Yes. That's why I find it so funny that the new Vemund calendar reads like, the weird is the new in. And Lee Harris, the astrologer, I always sent the monthly astrological reports. He mentioned last month as well, like the weird is the new norm. Obviously, they write it like the English, like WEIRD, whereas for me, like the title of my book is the weird is the Norse word, which stands for nothingness, for weaving from the present. It's also an old word for this non, the urt. It's got many different meanings, weird. So that's what I'm thinking about when I speak about the weird is the new in. Okay, I think we can leave it here.
I think we can indeed. Goodbye, everyone. And hopefully we'll see your creations.
Yes. We're always
read yours now. I haven't actually looked. I posted this morning, but I haven't actually looked and read. So I will read yours too, because I want to find out more about that bridge.
And the god Heimatdal. Speaking of the golden head, he's got golden teeth.
Ah, right. Oh, maybe that's where the connection is.
And he drinks the golden meat, and it's one of the most favorable gods. And yeah, maybe that was the connection there as well. So Heimatdal is also present with us. And I certainly feel like there's going to be like the rainbow coming on my Creatrix. Okay, thank you, Shireen. How many
colors will you have, I wonder?
Sorry?
And how many colors will you have, I wonder?
Well, usually the rainbow has got 7 colors, but I will bring 9, because 9 is the 9 dimensions and 9 energy centers. So I'm sure there will be 9 different colors.
Beautiful. Looking forward to seeing them.
Yeah, me too.
All
I
right.
look forward to see yours and to all of the other creation. As always, we are on the same thread. So exciting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us. And thank you for listening and being.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.